What? No way. Ugh.
Welcome to the channel. This is my 2011 Jeep Wrangler JKU with the 3.8 liter engine. And if you hear that growling noise, that is coming from over here, not over there. And I already replaced the belt tensioner. I know it's not that, even though I thought that it was. It's coming from the power steering pump, and we need to replace this bad boy. So let's get after it. So if you've been with the channel from the very beginning, you're thinking to yourself, Carbon, I thought you made this video back in 2018. You need to replace this again already? Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. First stock pump lasted 53,000 miles. This one lasted about 65,000 miles. Why am I recording this again? Well, I went back and watched that video to remember how to actually do this, and the video is okay. And it actually does some things that I'm hopefully not gonna have to do today, which is like take the pulley off and replace the pulley. But you know, I thought I would bring you the same task with a little bit of different style, and maybe you can even tell me which one you like better. So before we dive into taking the pump itself off, need to get access to it. So first thing I'm gonna do is take the air box off, and that just comes off with the hose clamp at the throttle body, and then take the air cleaner top off, take the filter out, and then the bottom part of that box just lifts on up. It's held in by a couple of grommets. And of course take the breather hose and disconnect that as well and push that out of the way. And you don't have to take the hose off the top of the valve cover, but the hose looks like it's probably going to get in the way a little bit, and it just pulls right off the valve cover, so may as well just set that aside too. So now we need to remove the belt from the front of the engine. Before you do that, draw a map of how the belt is routed so that it's an easy reference for you when you have to go put it back on. Once you've got that, just take a 3/8 inch extension or a 3/8 inch end of your ratchet, put it in the central square of the belt tensioner, turn it clockwise. That'll loosen the belt up, get the tension off of it, and you can pull the belt right off. So now's a good time for a quick tour of the hardware. This is the power steering pump. Specifically, this is the pulley. There is a ridge right here on the front of it that you can use a pulley puller to pull the pulley off of the pump. You can see that in the older video I made on how to replace the power steering pump. I'll leave a link to that in the video description. But this is the pulley, pump's back here. This is a low pressure line, uses a bigger hose with a hose clamp that comes up to the power steering fluid reservoir, which is not actually power steering fluid, it's ATF +4. And then down here is a high pressure line that goes back to the steering system of the Jeep, and that's threaded into the pump. So that's what we're going to be doing, is removing 3 bolts with a 13mm socket that you go through the holes in the pulley to pull that off. Then you remove this hose, swap the pump out. Piece of cake, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is take the hose to the power steering reservoir off of the pump, and I'm actually going to drain the reservoir through the hose. I'm going to replace the reservoir as well. The filter for the reservoir is inside the tank, and this tank's got 120,000 miles on it, and honestly I don't know if I even damaged the filter at the bottom when I last replaced the pump. So these are really cheap, and if you're going to replace the pump, you might as well replace the reservoir as well. So just use a pair of pliers to squeeze that hose clamp, pull it back off the hose, pull the hose off, and then you can drain the fluid into a container so that you can recycle that fluid. I also have a pan underneath the Jeep to catch any fluid that comes off the pump or out of the hose that I don't catch in the bucket, and that was a good call because it comes out pretty much right away. And looking at the coloring of this fluid, it is not supposed to be muddy brown, so I guess I'm glad I'm getting rid of as much of the fluid as I can. I'm not doing a full flush or anything like that, but there's going to be a pretty good swapping of fluid as we do this. And I did also loosen the top of the reservoir so that it won't pull a vacuum on the bottle and all the fluid will drain out of it. If you're going to replace the fluid reservoir, now's a good time to go ahead and pull it out of the Jeep as well. There are 2 hoses running to it and a single bolt that you need a 10mm socket. I'm only going to pull the upper hose off. It's the smaller diameter hose. Again, just a hose clamp with some pliers. You might need a pick to break it free if it's stuck. I'm going to leave the bigger hose on and pull that out as a single thing just to try to control any fluid that might come leaking out. And of course, you have to negotiate around wiring if you've got wiring in the way. Haven't you always wondered what's inside of a power steering fluid reservoir? Me too. Let's find out, and let's do it the best way possible. With an angle grinder, of course. All right, so let's go ahead and look inside the reservoir.
pull it apart. Obviously there's debris in there from cutting it, but looks like, so obviously there are a bunch of filter mediums inside there. It's like a nice big plastic baffle, so the return fluid, when it comes shooting in, kind of gets distributed around. But you can see over here, one of these partitions is indeed broken, and so for the last 50,000+ miles, there's been no filtration. There's a comment on that original video that I made. Somebody said when I used a turkey baster to siphon or suction fluid out of here, I probably punctured one of these, and that is actually what happened. So after almost 8 years, you've been vindicated, whoever made that comment, and that's a lesson for folks. Don't stick a turkey baster all the way down on the bottom of this thing. You're going to rip your filter. But this is what it looks like on the inside. But now let's go get the new one installed and then move on to the power steering pump. For installing the new bottle, first I'll connect the large hose to the bottom of the new reservoir, putting some ATF +4 on both of the points on the bottle where the hoses go on, just to help them slide on a little bit more easily. But I'm not going to put the hose clamp on the hose just yet. And I'll put the bolt in, but not get it all tightened up quite yet. And then I'll connect the smaller hose to the side of the reservoir and put both of the hose clamps in place, making sure to put the hose clamps in the same position they were in. You can look at the outlines on the hose themselves. You want to put them back in the same positioning. And then, of course, you want to make sure that the lower hose is oriented correctly so that the other end of the hose can go onto the pump. It's so rare that I get to use my flare nut wrenches, but that is the right tool for the job, a 16mm flare nut wrench. It wraps around the flats a little bit more than a regular wrench will, but a 16mm regular wrench will work as well. To remove the high pressure line on the power steering pump, just unthread it. There should be an O-ring on the hose connection itself, and if your pump came with O-rings, then you should absolutely replace the O-ring on that hose. If it didn't come with one, at least inspect it and see that there's no cracks or splits in that O-ring. Well, I clearly did not want that to ever come loose. It was torqued down there pretty tight. I think the torque spec is like 29 or 30 foot-pounds. So it is supposed to be pretty tight, but just be ready for that. To mechanically remove the pump from the Jeep, if you have the pulley off, then it's super easy to get to the 3 bolts that you need to remove using that 13mm socket. If the pulley is still on, you just need to rotate the pulley so you can get access to all 3 bolts. But just remove the 3 bolts and the pump should come right on out. Keep in mind that there's still fluid inside the pump, so hold it correctly so that fluid doesn't drip all over the place when you pull it out, and go set it on your catch pan so you can capture the fluid that's inside the pump. Now's a great time to use some brake parts cleaner and clean up all that power steering fluid that got all over the place. So like I said, the new pump comes with a pulley already installed, so I don't have to swap pulleys. I did take the old pump, put it right next to the new pump. The pulleys are the same size, the same thickness. The pumps have the same size, and the outlets for the hoses are in the same location. So it's a good match. So now the new pump, you just need to put the 3 bolts into the same 3 holes. The bolts are all the same length. You don't have to worry about that. Torque them down to 19 foot-pounds. That's around 240 inch-pounds. So I don't have a torque wrench that measures in the low foot-pound range. I'll just do it to 240 inch-pounds. On the steering pump, the high pressure line has a protective cap on it. It's threaded in, so use a pair of pliers or screwdriver or whatever you need to get rid of that, and then gently thread in your high pressure line. Inspect that O-ring. Mine looks fine. I don't have a spare O-ring. It didn't come with the pump, so I'm just going to reuse the old O-ring and hope that there aren't any leaks. But thread that in, and remember, it was torqued. The factory spec is 23 foot-pounds, so make sure you get it really tight. Don't destroy it, but do make sure you get it pretty good and tight. For the low pressure side, we'll remove the cap, put a little bit of ATF +4 around the connection point on the pump just to help the hose to slide the hose on, put the hose clamp back in place, making sure you put it in the same orientation it was in before, and that's all there is for that part. Now that we have the pump mechanically and hydraulically installed, we can go ahead and put ATF +4 fluid into the reservoir and then start bleeding the system. So obviously the first step is to just take the cap off the reservoir and fill it up to the max fill line. And I should only need a quart or maybe even less of fluid, but I actually have about 1.5 quarts just in case. And it's maybe 10 ounces of fluid from completely empty up to the max fill line. So now we'll put the Jeep in run, not start the engine, just in run so I can turn the steering. And you can see I've put cardboard underneath the front tires, And this will allow me to turn the tires from stop to stop without having to have the Jeep jacked up in the air. The purpose for doing this is to start bleeding the air out of the system. There's obviously going to be air in the pump, and we're going to circulate all that air through the steering system and then up into the tank. And so what you should start seeing here is bubbles. And we're going to go back and forth until we just don't see any more bubbles. I think in my first video I did it 20 times lock to lock, so hitting each side left and right 20 times. And I can't be in both places at once, so you are going to be my eyes into the tank to see how we're doing with the whole bubble situation. After 7 back and forths, the fluid level has dropped below the minimum line, so I'm going to fill it back up to the max line. I've gone 10 times lock to lock without the engine off. It's a bit of a workout, to be honest, but now I checked both connections, the hydraulic connections to the pump. There's no leaks. I'm not seeing any fluid drip into the ground or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the belt back on, put the air intake back on. We'll start the Jeep, and then we'll do the same thing, but with the power steering being run by the engine. And we'll still be looking to clear out any bubbles from complete bleeding the system. All right, I ran it lock to lock 10 times each side with the engine running, got all the bubbles out. It was down to the min level on fluid, so I put it back up to max, backed it out of the garage, and noticed I have a check engine light, and you should expect this as well. If you disconnected your air intake temperature sensor because you removed the air intake from the throttle body, and then you had the car in run, the Jeep in run, when you were going from lock to lock, it's going to set a code for not having that sensor, and it's going to be persistent until you clear the code. So don't be surprised if that happens. Just use your code reader to clear the code, or disconnect the negative battery terminal for 15 seconds or whatever to clear the code. Other than that, that's the installation and replacement of power steering pump. So hopefully the video has been helpful. If you have any comments or questions, leave them below. And hopefully this solves the noise problem, but honestly, I don't think it did. I think I still have that noise problem, and process of elimination, it might be alternator, and we'll have to see. But anyway, now you know how to replace the power steering pump. Until the next video, you all take care and have a good one.